compare human beings to property, you're not helping the University of Mississippi stigma. University of Mississippi, my dad's a lawyer, fans. I'm not going to give any kind of disclaimer. This is exactly how I feel. Keith Carter and that University of Mississippi staff cannot keep LSU out of their freaking mouth. They can't do it. It was going good for a while. I saw University of Mississippi fans and I saw LSU fans having some camaraderie, some amiability on X for like 3 hours. Then Keith Carter had to show up and stick his foot in his mouth and ruin all of that. As you all have seen from On 3, Keith Carter came out with I think it was a Clarion. Let me check. Yeah, the Clarion Ledger, and made comments about Devin Harper and Princewell Umami Yellen. Did I get that right, Zach? Umami Yellen? This is, look at this. Runt's going to run. That's right. I put a different letter in front of those words, but yeah, you're right. He went on and had an interview with the Clarion Ledger. I'm guessing that's out of Mississippi. But he was speaking about Princewell Umami Yellen and Devin Harper. And he came out and he said that they're willing to go to court to get back. So I'm gonna make sure I get the money right. I'm gonna get the type of money right. Buyout money, basically the money they promised Princewell and Devin Harper. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if they actually paid this money to Princewell, Umami Yellen, or Devin Harper or not. I'm guessing they did, or just buyouts. But first thing I want to say to all the University of Mississippi fans who are still commenting on my post on X earlier, thank you. Thank you for the free. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching on X, please like the stream, repost it. Does me a great job. If you're following, if you're not following, or you're not subscribed on any of the platforms, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that follow button on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. Subscribe. I don't care what Keith Carter says. I don't care what you say. It's free engagement. You decide to open your mouth and tell me that you're looking at Princewell and Devin Harper as property. You're not really beating the stigma when you do that, guy. You compare adults, not even adults. You compare human beings to property. You're not helping the University of Mississippi stigma. Maybe that's why you couldn't get a 5-star, because they're not property. They're human beings. You moron. But let's talk about Keith Carter. Keith Carter, and the reason why I titled the show tonight, Real G's Moving Silence Like Lasagna, Lane Kiffin ain't saying a word about this. This time last year, Lane Kiffin would have been all over social media, tearing somebody down. Now, he ain't bringing up a good point. He ain't bringing up that point whatsoever. He ain't saying nothing because Real G's moving silence like lasagna. Keith Carter comes out, and I don't even think they were just, I didn't read the article from the Clarion Ledger. I don't want to. I don't care. I got enough from On 3. Yeah, we're willing to take them to court for the buyouts. And let's be honest, it came from their rev share, which they haven't lost anything in rev share. They can't lose anything when a buyout because you haven't paid them. And they're trying to figure out if LSU is going to pay their buyouts or they're going to have to sue the players. Well, I'm going to give a little hint to any of the University of Mississippi, my dad's a lawyer, fans. If LSU has paid every buyout aside from those two, there is no buyout. The buyout is moot. I promise you, the last thing the University of Louisiana wants is to have a player come here, do the transfer portal, have a buyout and not pay it. They don't want to deal with that junk. That's the last thing they want to deal with. They want to focus on winning football games and getting the best players here. They're not ignoring a buyout because they're being cheap. They're ignoring the buyout because it doesn't have any legal substance. It doesn't matter. has no legal hold on those players or LSU. And all these fans, these University of Mississippi fans coming out and saying, oh, LSU's cheap. No, Keith Carter is sweating because he came out. I even had the Velvet Ditch comment on it. The low rent supper club in Oxford. They came out and commented on, oh, he has money. The collective. I don't care. Keith Carter doesn't have any money, I guess. Because if he's coming out and I had one person say, it's such an insignificant amount. Why doesn't LSU pay it? Probably because we don't have to pay it. But if it's such an insignificant amount and your collective has so much money built up, why are you worried about pennies, dog? Why are you worried about pennies? It goes both ways. Right? I'm not a rich man by any means. If I give one of you in the chat $20, I'm not going to sit here and go, hey, bro, what about $20? Unless, dog, I need that $20. I need gas money to get home. Keith Carter's sweating because he been out here acting like they have money and they have this, and Lane didn't go to a better place, and Oxford's where it's at, and we're this, and nope, we're not racist, even though we flagged that we flew the Confederate flag for years and years and years and had big things done on our campus. No. We don't have a problem. You do. No. Keith, you're broke. You're broke. Let's talk about some of the reasons why they could be broke. First, let's talk about why Prince Will and Devin left. We all remember after the Georgia game, prior to the Georgia game, let's even back further. We had Kewan Lacey was one of the ones we had circled with a highlighter ready to come to LSU. If they would have lost that Georgia game, same to go with TJ Dottery, probably the same thing to go with Prince Will Umunyela, probably the same thing with Trinidad Chambliss, which I'll be honest, I'm not upset about. I'm really enjoying this Sam Levitt ride, and I think he's going to be a better quarterback than Trinidad Chambliss. No shade to Trinidad. I just think Sam's going to be better. But what happened after that, prior to that Georgia game, we had them all circled as coming here. People online can say we didn't. We did. Yeah. I still take Kewan Lacey. I love Harlan Berry. I love Dylan Jones. I love Caden Durham. I love all the guys we got. I still take Kewan Lacey. After the Georgia game, Ole Miss took advantage of the emotional leverage they had on these guys, and they had them commit to deals. What happened after they committed those deals? Ole Miss started signing more transfer portal guys, and then, word got out of what they were paying those guys, not current roster players. And the current roster guys, similar to like looking at TJ Dottery and Prince Will, who Ole Miss looked at and said, we'll give them less money because we need to give Kewan and Trinidad more. They're bragging about making Trinidad a $5 million quarterback. He's not worth $5 million. I'm sorry. Maybe if he went to the draft like he should have. And I'm not saying that for LSU. I'm saying for his personal career, he should have went to the NFL. He was probably the best quarterback in this draft class. Big ups to the kid. He made a bad decision. But news started circling around that locker room saying, oh, you got what? Wait, he got paid what? And I'm getting what? I'm gone. And the transfer portal on the left. So if they signed anything, or they were presented with something to sign, it was null and void. Anybody who had to have a buyout be paid has been paid. So Keith Carter, one, lied to the current roster players about what they were getting and how they were being compensated versus the guys coming in for the transfer portal. Two, got caught with your pants down. And now, after you went and stole a guy from Clemson and then got called out on it, and by the way, I know Pete Holding really isn't into this whole situation. He's not really a part of it. His name hasn't been brought up. I got to give Pete Golding this little shot, though. Unlike other coaches, whenever Pete Golding, similar to Keith Carter, gets called out on his actions, he starts trying to tear other people down. Pete Golding, pride of Hammond, Louisiana, gets called out for tampering with Clemson on a linebacker. And Dabo Swinney, we've talked about it, goes to the podium, says, yep, this is what happened. And then Pete in a presser not too long after says, well, if they punish me, I'll just rat on everybody. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. People in Oxford ain't no G's. They ain't no, they soft. They Charmin soft, man. They Charmin soft. Pete Golden had a spine. He just kept it quiet. Went about his business. That's what men do. That's what men do. There aren't many men in this world. I'm learning that every day, man. I get so disappointed in some people. But back to the matter at hand. So now Keith Carter has come out and the Ole Miss faithful or the University of Mississippi faithful, I'm sorry, have come out and they bragged about Trinidad Chambliss is a $5 million quarterback. Oh, we're paying this guy this much. They're on the recruiting trail going after top recruits, and they keep losing them because they keep telling them, oh, we got this, we got this, we got this. And when they go to sit down, look at numbers, they ain't got that. They ain't got that. They ain't about that life. They ain't got that money. They ain't got that money. They show up in Baton Rouge and go, I'll be. Wait, you giving me how much? I was only asking for this much. Oh, hold up. Be quiet. I'll sign. Look at every recruit that LSU was going after that Ole Miss was going after as well, or the University of Mississippi. I apologize. It's a hard thing to break. I've done really good at not cussing. I've basically stopped cussing in my life. Get that evil out of my mouth has been hard to do because they keep bringing up our name. Ole Miss is broke. Do I know that for a fact? No. I know that from their actions. Like I said, if I gave one of you in the chat $20 and I said, hey, don't worry about it, dog, and then 2 months later, I'm like, bro, I need that $20. That means I'm hurting. So, Ole Miss can shove it. I don't care. I don't care. If Keith Carter was really going to do something, he wouldn't have announced this in the Clarion Ledger. He wouldn't have sat there and been like, oh, well. And one of the quotes that I love that he said was, it was when asked about the amounts, because the amounts total a little under $1 million. It's $997,000 in total. $407,000 for Harper and $590,000 for Princewell Umanmielen. And when asked about specific dollar amounts, he said, I don't really want to comment on that. It was significant. They were good players. I thought Princewell sucked. If you asked any University of Mississippi fan, they suck. If you ask anybody about Devin Harper, he stinks. One person said today, I hope no running back runs straight at him. Y'all going to find out how he is. Well, buddy, I promise you. Wait till Frank Wilson is in charge of your running back rotation. Wait till Frank Wilson shows up to a game to do your running back rotation, and all of a sudden, your best running back on the team gets 1 carry in the first half and 0 in the second half, i.e. Harlan Berry in the bowl game. Wait till Frank Wilson doesn't teach your running backs how to hit a hole and have no vision. You think you're going to have the same success you had last year, and I get it. John David Baker is a good offensive coordinator. He's a Lane Kiffin disciple. He's not Charlie Weiss, and he's not Lane Kiffin. How many Nick Saban assistants have become successful? If you look at the numbers, not a lot. If you look at the true numbers, not a lot, because he has a huge tree. I get it. But if discipleship behind a coach or a coordinator was that important, they'd all be great. The University of Mississippi and Keith Carter alone are doing this because they have no leverage. They're trying to get the public on their side to get LSU to pay them. I hope and I pray that Keith Carter and the University of Mississippi brings a trial against Princewell and Devin Harper. I hope they do. Because LSU can afford the legal fees. They can afford the legal fees. And whenever Keith Carter and that administration gets buried in a courtroom, because I promise you, if they do bring it to court, they're going to try to get the venue moved to Louisiana because that's where the players currently reside. and their students in class, so they don't need to be traveling to Mississippi and back for court dates, they're going to bury them. I can't wait for it to happen. I cannot wait for it to happen. Let's get back to the chat real quick.